Star Resource Project, My Indifferent Little Idol. 1. In the city late at night, neon lights flashed, and the protagonist Liu Yuchen drove through the empty streets. He secretly calculated tonight's arrangements in his heart. The little star Shan Zelen, who signed the contract, did not bring any enthusiasm or take the initiative to express his needs, and was his proudest investment in recent years. He remembered the scene where he met Shan Zelen for the first time. The little star stood in the corner of the signing room, his eyes indifferent, as if the world had nothing to do with him. Liu Yuchen's heart moved at that time. This is exactly the person I want. He is not clingy and does not make demands. He silently wrote it down in his heart, with a smile on his lips, but he didn't expect that behind this indifference, a series of unexpected events would be triggered. Two. The next morning, Liu Yuchen took Shan Zelen to participate in the recording of a variety show. In the studio, the lights were dazzling, the assistant was busy shuttling, while Shan Zelen was just sitting quietly on the sofa, as indifferent as a statue. The host asked him, "Zelen, do you have any plans for the future?" Shan Zelen raised his eyes lightly. "Plan? Without." The audience was stunned, but Liu Yuchen secretly rejoiced in his heart. This kind of asceticism is the most worry-free star. He even ticked a box in his heart, thinking to himself, "The future resources will depend on me to arrange." Three. After the recording, Liu Yuchen took Shan Zelen out to promote. Fans on the street gathered around, and the mobile phone flashed continuously, but Shan Zelen just stood aside, looking into the distance indifferently, and never took the initiative to wave. Liu Yuchen secretly sighed in his heart. This kind of face-type star has a lot of aura when he takes it out. However, when he returned to the hotel, Shan Zelen suddenly spoke, "Tell me, what resources do you want?" Liu Yuchen was stunned, and then realized that this kid seemed unenterprising, but was actually secretly testing him. This scene was like an undercurrent under a calm lake. Four. Resources? Whatever, anything will do. Liu Yuchen said with a smile, wanting to test Shan Zelen's bottom line. Shan Zelen's eyes were flat and his tone was indifferent. Then let's go to the May 3rd hardcover edition, the college entrance examination mock real questions condensed version, and the full understanding of English grammar. Liu Yuchen was stunned, and the coffee in his hand almost spilled out. He thought to himself, "This kid is too. Are you serious? High school textbooks? Are you sure?" He couldn't help but ask. Shan Zelen nodded emotionally, "I like the progress I arranged." Liu Yuchen smiled, secretly admiring. It turned out that under his indifferent appearance, there was an unusually serious obsession. Five. In the following days, Liu Yuchen arranged a series of publicity and filming activities, but Shan Zelen still maintained his usual indifferent attitude, no complaints, no coquettishness and no initiative to ask for any benefits. However, every time he appears, he can cause a stir among fans, with an aura of mystery in his indifference. Liu Yuchen secretly calculated in his heart that such a star was both worry-free and valuable, and it was completely in line with the ideal investment model in his heart. However, what he didn't expect was that Shan Zelen would occasionally make some unexpected requests, such as the list of college entrance examination books that night, which made him laugh and cry, and also made the story unfold slowly. Six. One day, Liu Yuchen decided to personally observe Shan Zelen's daily study life. He discovered that this seemingly unambitious star had a room full of notes, books, and elaborate planners, and every detail was carefully arranged. "This kid!" Liu Yuchen secretly exclaimed in his heart. Shan Zelen raised his eyes cold. "I said, I have my own schedule." Liu Yuchen could only smile bitterly, thinking to himself, this investment, although worry-free, was also full of challenges. Seven. After the recording, Liu Yuchen took Shan Zelen to participate in the commercial performance. Liu Yuchen thought that the little star would watch quietly, but he didn't expect him to step onto the stage. He didn't move much, but his aura was extremely strong, and the audience screamed continuously. It's amazing. Liu Yuchen thought to himself that this kind of indifferent temperament was more eye-catching than ordinary active stars. After Shen Zelen finished, he walked off the stage, still indifferent, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen looked at him, his smile couldn't hide his surprise. This kid is not only worry-free, but also can automatically create heat. One night, the two were discussing resource allocation in the hotel office. Liu Yuchen looked at the table full of contracts and plans, and thought to himself, resource allocation must be accurate, the indifference of this little star cannot be broken, nor can it lose market popularity. Shen Zelen sat in the corner and asked lightly, what is your standard? Liu Yuchen was stunned, he didn't expect the little star to ask this question. Efficiency, impact, returns. He replied, secretly wary, this kid seems to be examining me. Shen Zelen nodded, as if he had confirmed something, and stopped talking, just lowered his head to sort out the information. As the days passed, Shen Zelen maintained an indifferent attitude, but began to occasionally show unexpected actions, such as secretly practicing lines in his room at night, or silently flipping through book notes between filming sessions. Liu Yuchen looked at these details, and felt more and more in his heart, this little star is not only a face-saving type, but also a person who is extremely self-disciplined. He secretly decided to protect this indifferent resource and at the same time grasp his bottom line. One night, when Liu Yuchen was sorting out the information, Shen Zelen suddenly spoke, tell me, what resources do you plan to give me next? Liu Yuchen was stunned, this was not the first time, but every time he heard it, it seemed to be hinted at, with a sense of challenge. He smiled in his heart, this kid, obviously indifferent, can always master the rhythm and play me around. You need resources. We take our time. Liu Yuchen replied, secretly looking forward to it. Next, how will this relationship develop? 11. The city was still shrouded in fog in the early morning. Liu Yuchen opened the hotel door and saw Shen Zelen sitting by the window, holding the English grammar book in his hand. He raised his eyes to look at the street, his indifferent eyes showing concentration, as if isolated from the outside world. Are you reading again? Liu Yuchen couldn't help but ask, his tone smiling. Shen Zelen looked up and nodded slightly, I want to be familiar with the grammatical structure. Liu Yuchen sighed secretly in his heart, this little star's unenterprising illusion was completely broken, and there was an extremely serious self-discipline hidden behind it. He walked over, sat next to Shen Zelen, picked up the coffee and blew it gently, thinking to himself, this kind of quietness and indifference is actually more attractive than the noise of the outside world. Liu Yuchen arranged a small press conference to test Shen Zelen's ability to cope. The lights were bright, the camera was flashing, and the little star just stood quietly aside, fingers crossed, and his eyes did not waver. The reporter asked, will you change yourself for resources? Shen Zelen blinked slightly, his tone cold, resources are tools, not motivation. The audience was stunned, and Liu Yuchen snickered in his heart, sure enough, under the indifferent appearance is an indestructible principle. However, he also understands that although such people are easy to get along with, if not handled properly, they can also cause unexpected challenges. When he returned to the hotel in the evening, Liu Yuchen saw Shen Zelen putting his books on the table, neatly arranged, as if preparing for an exam. I want to confirm, do you really want to read these books, or are they just decorations? He asked. Shen Zelen looked up, his eyes like ice, each book must be studied carefully. Liu Yuchen's heart was shocked, this little star is indifferent, but every action has its own rhythm and principles, and he is not a lazy idle in the outside world's perception at all. He thought to himself, in the future, resource allocation should not only rely on appearance, but also consider this hidden pursuit of perfection. underscore 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 un. 14. The next day when recording a variety show, Shan Zelen was still expressionless, but in front of the camera, he unexpectedly exuded a high-end aura. The audience screamed again and again. Lu Yuchen stood in the control room, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. Indifferent stars are more eye-catching than ordinary active stars. During the program, Shan Zelen took out his notes and silently sorted out today's filming process, without communicating with anyone at all. Lu Yuchen looked at him and felt a wonderful sense of security, not clingy, not picky, but with his own aura. Underscore 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 un. 15. At lunchtime, Lu Yuchen asked Shan Zelen, "Do you want to be popular?" Shan Zelen raised his eyes and said in a flat tone, "Red is just a byproduct." Lu Yuchen was stunned. He didn't expect the little star to be so rational. Even the goal was clear and calm. I thought to myself, on the one hand, such a personality is worry-free, but on the other hand, a slight deviation in resource arrangement may cause efficiency problems. Therefore, he decided to formulate the strictest resource schedule to meet Shan Zelen's needs and maximize star value. Underscore 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 un. 16. At night, when Lu Yuchen was sorting out the documents, Shan Zelen walked to the table and pointed to the documents. "There is a problem with this order. First arrange the May 3rd hardcover version, and then arrange the mock questions." Lu Yuchen was stunned. "You actually arrangement order?" Shan Zelen nodded coldly. "Efficiency is the most important." Lu Yuchen laughed secretly in his heart. This indifferent little star, who is not active on the surface, is actually a workaholic. He secretly decided that he would not only be an agent next, but also become his assistant and think tank. Underscore 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 un. 17. A few days later, Lu Yuchen arranged for Shan Zelen to participate in a filming event at the top of a high-rise building in the city. The photographer reminded, "Be careful when shooting at high altitudes, he is not used to this kind of scene." Shan Zelen raised his eyes and said in an indifferent tone, "I am used to overcoming it by myself." Lu Yuchen stood aside, watching him face the height calmly, secretly admiring in his heart, this little star, indifferent on the surface, stronger than ordinary people on the inside. The filming was successfully completed, and the audience responded enthusiastically, and Lu Yuchen secretly sighed in his heart, such an indifferent star is not only worry-free but also can bring its own traffic. Underscore 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 un. 18. Late at night, Lu Yuchen and Shan Zelen were walking on the top floor of the hotel. The night was cool, and the neon lights were reflected on the glass windows. "Tell me, what other resources do you want?" Lu Yuchen asked with a smile. He was used to this small question and answer at night. Shan Zelen looked up at the city and said in a light tone, "You can have complete learning materials in a quiet environment." Lu Yuchen secretly admired in his heart, this little star is indifferent, but has his own rhythm and needs, and is completely unaffected by external temptations. Underscore 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 un. 19. The next day, Lu Yuchen arranged for Shan Zelen to participate in the music recording, and the lighting in the recording studio was dim, but he still sat down calmly and did not communicate with anyone at all. The engineer was surprised. Why is this kid not under any pressure at all? Lu Yuchen observed silently from the side, smiling secretly in his heart, this is the person I want, worry-free, not clingy, and most importantly, taking it out his face. After Shan Zelen finished recording, he remained indifferent and went straight back to the lounge. Lu Yuchen looked at him and secretly sighed in his heart, under this indifferent appearance, there is actually self-discipline and persistence. Underscore 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 un. 20. At night, Lu Yuchen sorted out tomorrow's shooting plan. Shan Zelen suddenly spoke, "Tell me, which part of your plan do I have to focus on?" Lu Yuchen was stunned, secretly exclaiming in his heart, although this little star is not clingy and does not take the initiative to ask for resources, he is always mastering the rhythm. The focus is on the May 3rd hardcover edition, simulated real questions, and grammar exercises. Liu Yuchen replied, laughing secretly in his heart, this little star, indifferent on the surface, is actually completely in control of himself, and is also testing me. Shen Zelin nodded, then lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen looked at him and understood in his heart, next, this road of ascetic and indifferent starlets will be more interesting and challenging IQ and patience than he imagined. 21. Early the next morning, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelin to participate in a fashion brand shoot. The lights in the studio were dazzling, models, makeup artists, and assistants were in their places, while Shen Zelin sat in the corner as always, his hands folded and his eyes indifferent. For this shoot, there are several sets of looks that require you to take the initiative to express your emotions. Liu Yuchen reminded. Shen Zelin raised his eyes and said in a flat tone, I only act as necessary. Liu Yuchen frowned secretly, thinking to himself, this kid never does anything superfluous, maybe it's his strength, or maybe it's the biggest challenge. During the filming, he was still indifferent, but his posture was perfect, and his aura in front of the camera was more eye-catching than that of a lively star. Liu Yuchen was secretly glad that this kind of worry-free and advanced resource was simply the best for celebrity investment. Underscore 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 un. 22. At lunch, Shen Zelin took out a list and said in a light tone, I want to adjust the order of tomorrow's shooting. Liu Yuchen's eyes widened, you actually arrange it yourself. Shen Zelin nodded flatly, efficiency is the most important. Liu Yuchen secretly admired in his heart, this indifferent little star, calm on the outside, is actually controlling every step accurately. He thought to himself, next, the allocation of resources must be more careful. The two looked at each other silently, and the room was filled with a strange tacit understanding, cold on the outside and hot on the inside, but they were secretly testing and understanding each other. Underscore 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 un. 23. That night, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelin to a fan meeting. The fans at the scene screamed again and again, while Shen Zelin just stood in the center of the stage with indifferent eyes. The host asked him, what do you find most attractive about yourself? Shen Zelin blinked slightly and said lightly, calm down. The audience was stunned, and Liu Yuchen couldn't help but laugh out loud in the audience. Sure enough, indifference is his label, and it has also become the most attractive charm. During the fan interaction, Shen Zelin didn't say much, but every action seemed to have been carefully calculated, perfectly echoing the rhythm of the scene. Liu Yuchen thought to himself, this little star, indifferent on the surface, actually completely controls his charm. Underscore 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 un. 24. Back at the hotel late at night, when Liu Yuchen was sorting out the information, Shen Zelin suddenly spoke, tell me, what resources do you plan to arrange tomorrow? Liu Yuchen was stunned, this was not the first time, but every time he heard it, it stimulated his mind as if he was hinted. Tomorrow is mainly a promotional video, and there is also an evening commercial performance. He replied. Shen Zelin nodded flatly, then looked down at the book, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly, under this indifferent appearance, there is such a clear sense of rhythm, which is really not to be underestimated. Underscore 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 un. 25. At the filming site the next day, Shen Zelin was arranged to cooperate with a number of senior actors. The photographer reminds, be careful, he is not used to taking the initiative to communicate. Shen Zelin raised his eyes and said in a cold tone, only show necessary interaction. Liu Yuchen observed from the side, secretly admiring in his heart, this little star is not clingy or takes the initiative to act coquettishly, but at critical moments, he can always grasp the focus. After the filming was completed, the effect was surprisingly good, the director applauded, and Liu Yuchen laughed secretly in his heart, this kind of heart-saving star completely exceeded expectations. Underscore 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 un. 26. At night, Liu Yuchen and Shen Zelin were walking on the top floor, the city was illuminated by neon lights, and the wind was slightly cool. Tell me, what other resources do you want? Liu Yuchen asked, accustomed to this question and answer at night. Shen Zelin replied flatly, quiet environment and complete information. Liu Yuchen secretly admired, This little star is indifferent, but he has his own rhythm and requirements, and is completely unaffected by the outside world. The two walked in silence, forming a wonderful tacit understanding in the night, both cold and close. Underscore 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 on. 27. A few days later, Liu Yuchen arranged for Shen Zelen to participate in the music recording. The lighting in the recording studio was dim and the atmosphere was tense, but he still sat down calmly, holding the microphone in his hand. The engineer was surprised. Why is he not under any pressure at all? Liu Yuchen looked at him and secretly admired in his heart. The concentration under this indifferent appearance is more stable than that of ordinary stars. After the recording was completed, Shen Zelen walked out of the recording studio and went straight back to the room to rest, without even complaining. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly. This indifferent little star is really a natural worry-free resource. Underscore 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 on. 28. One day, Liu Yuchen received a special invitation, international brand cooperation shooting. He flew overseas with Shen Zelen, and Shen Zelen was by the window on the plane, flipping through the information in his hand, his eyes still indifferent. Liu Yuchen sighed. No matter how the outside world changes, his indifference will always remain unchanged, and this stability is the resource characteristic he values most. After arriving at the filming location, Shen Zelen behaved calmly as always, but he always attracted everyone's attention. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly in his heart. This investment is completely worth it. Underscore 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 on. 29. During overseas filming, Shen Zelen made a small request. Before filming, read the scene introduction first. Liu Yuchen frowned slightly. Do you really have to be so careful every time? Shen Zelen replied coldly. Efficiency is the most important. Liu Yuchen secretly admired. The indifference of this little star is not laziness, but self-discipline and precision. He thought to himself, the next resource arrangement must take into account efficiency and quality in order to fully realize his potential. Underscore 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 on. 30. At night, after the filming, Liu Yuchen sorted out his schedule. Shen Zelen sat on the sofa and said lightly, "Tell me, next, what resources do you plan to arrange?" Liu Yuchen couldn't help but laugh. This kid reminds me every night. His indifference never represents negativity, but a way to control the rhythm. Tomorrow will be mainly brand promotion and commercial performances. He replied. Shen Zelen nodded, then lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen looked at him and thought to himself, this road to an indifferent star has just begun, and it will be more interesting in the future. 31. Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelen to participate in a large-scale overseas award ceremony. The red carpet was densely lit with flashes, and he still stood aside indifferently, holding the cuffs of his dress in his hands. Pay attention to the image tonight, but don't interact too much. Liu Yuchen reminded. Shen Zelen raised his eyes and said in a flat tone, I know. On the red carpet, although he did not take the initiative to talk to the media, every movement was precise and in place. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly in his heart. This indifferent appearance is more eye-catching than a lively star. Underscore 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 on. 32. During the dinner, Shen Zelen suddenly requested, give me a complete selection criteria, I want to know the judges' preferences. Liu Yuchen was stunned, you even have to be so precise at the dinner party. Shen Zelen's tone was still cold, efficiency comes first. Liu Yuchen was helpless, but he admired in his heart, the indifference of this little star is never lazy, but a way to control himself efficiently. Underscore 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 on. 33. The next day, at the commercial performance, Shen Zelen behaved calmly and freely, and did not interact with fans at all. The audience was attracted by his high-end aura, and screams came one after another. Liu Yuchen observed from the side, sighing secretly in his heart, this indifferent little star is simply the best investment. Liu Yuchen looked at him and thought to himself, under this indifferent appearance, there is amazing concentration. run. 34. One night, Liu Yuchen arranged a night publicity meeting, and Shen Zelen made a small request. The stage lighting should be debugged in advance, and I want to familiarize myself with the environment first. Liu Yuchen secretly sighed in his heart, this little star, indifferent but accurate, calculating risks and effects every step of the way. After the lighting was adjusted, he took the stage, indifferent but full of aura, and the fans at the scene kept exclaiming. Liu Yuchen secretly rejoiced, this kind of indifferent resource is both worry-free and valuable. Run. 35. Returning to the hotel late at night, Liu Yuchen sorted out tomorrow's itinerary. Shen Zelen suddenly spoke, tell me, what resources do you plan to arrange for me? Liu Yuchen was stunned. This question almost became a fixed routine at night, but every time he heard it, it stimulated his thinking as if he was hinted at it. Tomorrow is mainly about filming promotional videos and commercial performances. He replied. Shen Zelen nodded, then lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen looked at him and thought to himself, this journey of an indifferent star is becoming more and more intriguing. Run. 36. The next day of filming, Shen Zelen was arranged to cooperate with a well-known host. The photographer reminded, he is not good at taking the initiative to communicate. Shen Zelen raised his eyes and said in an indifferent tone, only show necessary interactions. Liu Yuchen observed from the sidelines, secretly admiring in his heart, the concentration under this indifference is more stable and attractive than that of ordinary stars. After the filming was completed, he still quietly sorted out the information, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly in his heart, this indifferent little star is really the best in the investment world. Run. 37. One night, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelen for a walk to the city lake. The lake reflected the neon light, and he asked lightly, how do you think the value of a star should be measured? Shen Zelen raised his head, his eyes were indifferent but thoughtful, efficiency and influence. Liu Yuchen secretly admired in his heart, under this indifferent appearance, there is clear and rational judgment. In the night wind, they walked silently, indifferent but formed a wonderful tacit understanding. Run. 38. A few days later, Liu Yuchen arranged for Shen Zelen to participate in the recording of an international variety show. The lights in the video studio were dazzling, but he still sat down indifferently, his eyes steady. The host asked, what do you think about competition? Shen Zelen's tone was cold, only do what you have to do. The audience was stunned, and Liu Yuchen snickered, this indifferent star is more eye-catching and charming than the active type. Run. 39. During the recording, Liu Yuchen observed Shen Zelen silently annotating on his notes, and even planning the next step of study and filming plans. Liu Yuchen secretly exclaimed in his heart that it was incredible, under the indifferent appearance, there is self-discipline that completely controls the rhythm. He thought to himself, in the future, resource allocation must be more accurate, otherwise it will be difficult to give full play to his potential. Run. 40. At night, Liu Yuchen sorted out tomorrow's itinerary, and Shen Zelen suddenly spoke, tell me, what resources do you plan to arrange tomorrow? Liu Yuchen smiled bitterly, under this little star's indifferent appearance, he always masters the rhythm and can always remind him to keep thinking. Mainly shooting brand advertisements and commercial performances. He replied. Shen Zelen nodded, then lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. Liu Yuchen secretly sighed in his heart, this journey of an indifferent star has just begun, and there are more challenges ahead. Run. 41. After overseas filming, Liu Yuchen decided to take Shen Zelen to visit local cultural attractions. Shen Zelen remained indifferent, but occasionally lowered his head to take notes and organize the details of the scene into information. Liu Yuchen observed from the side, secretly admiring in his heart, this little star is indifferent, but he has a strong pursuit of knowledge and planning. The two walked on the ancient streets, forming a wonderful tacit understanding in indifference. _ 42. One day, Liu Yuchen arranged for Shen Zelen to participate in an outdoor interview and encountered a sudden weather change. Shen Zelen calmly instructed, shoot indoor footage first, and then deal with the outdoors. Liu Yuchen secretly admired, this little star, under his indifferent appearance, is a wise man who completely controls the rhythm. The filming was successfully completed, and he still lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. _ 43. At night, Liu Yuchen sorted out the brand cooperation materials. Shen Zelen walked aside, and his tone was flat. What is the most efficient order of these plans? Liu Yuchen was stunned. This little star even controlled the order accurately, and his indifference was full of thinking. First the promotional video, then the commercial performance, and then the magazine. Liu Yuchen replied. Shen Zelen nodded and sat back in his seat quietly. Liu Yuchen thought to himself, this indifferent little star, completely controlling himself, is also affecting me. _ 44. A few days later, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelen to participate in a variety show live broadcast. The photographer reminded, he is aloof and has limited audience interaction. Shen Zelen raised his eyes and said in a light tone, just interact if necessary. During the live broadcast, he was calm and focused, and his aura in front of the camera was stable, which aroused more curiosity and discussion among the audience. Liu Yuchen smiled secretly, this kind of worry-free resource is completely beyond imagination. _ 45. At night, Liu Yuchen and Shen Zelen were walking on the top floor of the hotel, and the night of the city was twinkling. Tell me, what other resources do you want? Liu Yuchen asked. Shen Zelen replied coldly, complete information and quiet environment. Liu Yuchen secretly admired in his heart, this indifferent little star has his own rhythm and needs, and is not disturbed by the outside world. The two walked silently, forming a wonderful tacit understanding in indifference. _ 46. The next day, Liu Yuchen arranged for Shen Zelen to shoot a fashion advertisement. During the filming, he was still indifferent, but every movement was precise and in place, and he was full of aura in front of the camera. Liu Yuchen secretly sighed in his heart, under this indifferent appearance, there is self-discipline that completely controls his own rhythm. After the filming, Shen Zelen lowered his head to sort out the information, as if nothing had happened. _ 47. At night, Liu Yuchen sorted out tomorrow's itinerary, and Shen Zelen asked coldly, tell me, which part of the resources you arranged is the most important? Liu Yuchen was stunned, this little star always controls the rhythm and always tests his decision-making ability. Brand advertising and commercial performances. He replied. Shen Zelen nodded and quietly sorted out the information. Liu Yuchen secretly admired in his heart, this indifferent little star is the best in the investment world. _ 48. A few days later, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelen to participate in the recording of an international variety show. Shen Zelen faced the challenge calmly, and the audience screamed continuously. Liu Yuchen observed from the side, secretly admiring in his heart, under this indifferent appearance, there is a perfect combination of firmness and self-discipline. After the recording, he still quietly sorted out the data, as if nothing had happened. underscore 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 un. 49. At night, Liu Yuchen sorted out the information. Shen Zelen came over and asked plainly, what is the most efficient order for tomorrow's arrangements? Liu Yuchen smiled bitterly, this little star is indifferent, but he controls everything, and even requires the ultimate in efficiency. First brand advertising, then commercial performances, and then magazine shooting. He replied. Shen Zelen nodded and sat back in his seat quietly, as if nothing had happened. Underscore 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 un. 50. On the last day, Liu Yuchen took Shen Zelen to the closing dinner. On the red carpet, he was still indifferent, his movements were precise, and his aura was full, which caused the media and fans to go crazy. Liu Yuchen looked at him and smiled secretly in his heart, this journey of an indifferent little star finally came to a perfect end. In the night, they walked back to the hotel silently, indifferent but formed a wonderful tacit understanding, worry-free, high-end, stable, and the charm of an indifferent star was fully displayed. Liu Yuchen thought to himself, this investment is definitely the most worthwhile.